Hello, everyone. Welcome to LinkedIn Live. I'm your host, Talia Cohen, and I'm on the DevRel team here at Postman, and We're here every other Thursday showing you the latest updates that come out of our amazing Postman product and engineering teams. Don't forget that throughout the live stream today, if you have any questions, be sure to pop it in the chat so we can answer them. We also want your feedback. So this is your direct line to communicate with the Postman team. So if you have feedback, comments, questions, let us know in the chat. All right, let's get into it. First up, we have Apoorv. Welcome, Apoorv.
Thanks. Let me quickly share my screen. Cool. So, a lot of you have probably used environments in Postman. For those of you who don't know about environments, you can create different environment having different variables, and you can assign initial or current value to the environment, which then you can use in your request, and this value will be different for different environments, and through this you can have your API testing for all of your environments. So let's talk about the current problems that this environment variable editor has. There are two problems with it. First, that we have two different columns named as initial value and current value, where the current value will be used for request sending and the initial value will be used for your cloud activities, and it will be synced with our server. But there is confusion between the users that the initial value is currently shared and the current value is only local to your Postman app. So to mitigate this, we are now introducing a single value column in our new variable editor, where you will see a clear indication that what values are shared with your teammates and over the cloud, and what values are local to your server. So let me just create a new variable. For example, this is your API and you are adding a new variable for region. I'll just write it as US, and I'll probably just want to share this region key with all of my fellow developers, that this is the region that we are going to use for all of our APIs. And whenever I will be sharing it, you will see that there is a clear indication that this value is now synced with your teammates. Uh, if I want to update this value for all of my fellow collaborative users, I can just edit this value and update the shared value for all of the users. And now this value will be shared with all of my teammates. Also, you can mark any value as a secret, and whenever you are marking any value as sensitive value, you will be seeing a confirmation pop-up whether you want to keep sharing that value or you want to unshare it. Now for all these APIs, earlier users used to also have the descriptions in the initial value, and for this we are introducing a new field in our editor where you can add description for your variables. So let's just say this is the base URL for all of the APIs. And now this description will be shared with all of your users. You have several multi-bulk actions as well, where you can choose to share all the values, unshare all the values, mark all the values as secret, or unmark all the values as secret. So if I just want to unshare all the values, I can quickly unshare it. And now none of these values will be synced with any of my teammates or for any of the cloud operations. You'll also notice that we have removed the save button from here. And that is because now all of your changes will be auto-saved to the server. So if I will be just updating this region to US East 1. Now before and I'll just use this variable here as region, right? So now if I'll just make it as US East Alpha, just for the sake, you'll see that this region is now updated as well. So with this whole simplified variables initiative, we are trying to streamline all of the variable operations, make them local by default. Only when the user wants to share it, they will be able to share it, and they will be having a clear visibility of what value is shared. And in case that they are sharing any sensitive fields with anyone else, they will be seeing several confirmation pop-ups where they are prompted whether they want to share the values or not. Cool. So I would like to next invite Rishabh to let's see what he's been working on.
Hi everyone, I'm Rishav and I work for the ID platform team at Postman, where we build extension for VS Code and other IDs based on it. To those of you who do not know, we have a Postman VS Code extension using which you can develop and test your APIs in Postman right from VS Code and other IDs based on it. Uh, I'm really excited to demo the Postman MCP integration in VS Code and the things it can help us achieve. I'll start by sharing my screen. Uh, Now, since we are talking MCP, let me start by talking about what MCP is. MCP stands for Model Context Protocol, and it is the standard for connecting AI applications to data sources. And in the context of Postman, we have the Postman MCP, which can be integrated by the AI agents to allow them to manage your Postman resources like workspaces and collection. And with this Postman VS Code extension, we make this integration seamless. So without further ado, let us look at this in action. Let me start by reloading my workspace. So what happens is whenever we open a new workspace in VS Code, we get this prompt which prompts us to add the Postman MCP. If I click on Add MCP, it asks me to generate the API key. Now, if I click on Generate API key, it will just ask for a confirmation to open this particular URL in the browser. If I click on this, it takes me to the Postman dashboard. And over here, we can click on Generate API key and create a key, copy it. And when we go back to VS Code, I have the option of adding it to the ID. Once I add it here, I get this notification saying that the Postman MCP has been successfully installed. And we can also verify this. If we change this to agent mode, we click on tools, and we can see here that we have the Postman MCP installed and the tools that are available. Uh, Now, let us start with verifying whether it has the right account details or not. So I'll ask the agent to fetch my Postman account details. Awesome. As you can see that it is able to fetch my account details. Now what next we can do is we can give a prompt to the agent to add all these requests to a Postman collection. By the way, I have this few APIs available which I want to add to Postman, but I do not want to do it manually. And thanks to AI, I do not have to. And if I give this prompt, which I already have it here, for adding all these scripts, all these requests with scripts and examples to a new collection called Task Manager in a new personal workspace called DemoD, and also adding the base URL as a variable. So in the initial run, it might take some time because the agent gathers the context, but yep. And as soon as it starts executing the tools, you can see that whatever inputs it is passing to the MCP. At times it can be slow, it can be fast, depending on the agent we choose. Uh, but hopefully this shouldn't take a lot of time. Although it did not prompt that whether it has created a workspace or not, but let us search for it. And it seems it hasn't created it yet. Let us wait for some more time. Okay, yeah. The name of the workspace was demo D. So it created a new workspace for us, and it added all the requests in a new collection called Task Manager. Uh, it has added all the requests, and what it has also done is added the base URL as a variable. If I click on send, you can see that we get a success response. And if I try to run this collection, this seems to be successful as well. How cool is this? What we saw here is a way to add your APIs to Postman with the help of AI without having to leave your development environment. And this is just one example. There are several tools available to manage your Postman resources, which makes the API development journey with Postman so convenient. As of now, adding MCP via the extension is only available in VS Code because other IDEs don't support it yet. But you can always do it manually, and we have the steps available in the docs. That's all from my side. I look forward to hearing experiences, feedback that you may have. Next, I'll like to invite Shashank to showcase what he has.
Thanks, Rishabh. That was actually a great demo, and now, just looking forward to see how developers start using this MCP server for us. Folks, I'm Shashank. I'm the product manager leading the API governance and API design charter within Postman, and we deal with API specifications, collections with types, and a lot more. Today, we are going to present you some of the improvements that we have been doing in our collection generation and syncing algorithm. I know all of you, sort of love collections, and then we have API specifications, and getting from API specifications to collections has been never more like has been so much more easier now. I'll start presenting uh, the improvements that we have been doing to this algorithm lately. I hope everybody can see my screen. For those who don't know, Postman supports authoring API specifications. We have recently launched our new product line, which is Spec Hub, where you can, author your API specifications and manage them. What you see over here is an Postman API specification. On the left hand side, what you see is an outline that represents all the endpoints that you have and the other components. The main screen is the actual editor, and what you see over here down there is the validation pane, and we also have live documentation, which would update as and when you update your API specifications. But we are here to talk about a cool new enhancements to our generate collection workflow. As all of you would know that we have the ability to generate a collection from an API specification, and the enhancement that we have done now is the ability for you to arrange the collection in a much better way using tags. Earlier in Postman, we used to support creation of folders using tags, but we could not create hierarchy of folder using tags, right? So if you see multiple tags, what we used to do was we used to create multiple of these folders and paste the same request in all of those folders. But now you can sort of control it better. I'll generate a collection for you. Now you have the ability to create folders using tags, which was already there. Alongside that, you also have the ability to nest those folders based on the sequence that you have defined in your open API specification. So what I expect over here is creation of 3 folders: API, collections, and comments, in the hierarchy that is specified. So let's just go back and generate a collection. It takes a while, but we can start seeing the collection being created soon. As we as the collection is being generated, I want to just revisit some of the features that we have been adding in our spec hub, where this nice visual outline can actually be used to quickly add new paths. So for example, I'm adding a new path, say get status, and that would just sort of add a new path. A quick tab would just lead to a quick auto completion, and then I can just hit save, and I can see that the collection was generated. I can actually sync those changes back to the collections, but I'll come back to that later. Let's just check out the collection that we had created and see if the hierarchy that we were talking about is created properly or not, right? So we can see the hierarchy is now created properly, something that wasn't possible earlier, but now is possible using the newer algorithm. Now let's shift gears. I know some of us are much more comfortable authoring collections rather than API specifications, and we always sort of cater to people where they are. You have the ability to actually generate an API specification from a collection. I have a collection over here, and I can generate an API specification directly from here. I'll go here, I'll click on more and say generate specification. Let's just call it spec service. I'll quickly generate a YAML. So this feature was already available in Postman. What I'm here to show is the functionality of sync, which is now improved. So earlier, when you used to make any updates to this particular collection and sync it back to the API specification, we used to override all of your complete API specification. But now we have started doing selective updates. So the API specification that was created, I might just want to add, let's say, some vendor extensions, which is pretty common use case. Let's say to deploy things on gateway, right? So I'll go to an path and just add a vendor extension over here. So yes, the specification is updated, and I'll go back to collections now. Now my intent is to keep designing newer and newer endpoints using collections, or keep updating them. In this case, let me just update. Let me just name it properly. And now I have changes in my collection that I want to sync back to my specification. I have the ability to do that. This is still in sync. Let me just add a new endpoint over here. And hit save. I've made the changes in my API in my collections, and I can see that the API specification is also updated now, right? So this is how we have streamlined the way in which you can work, both via the collection route as well as from the specification route. Just based on the tool of your choice, we allow you to start, authoring your API specification or your collections and start designing your APIs. Thanks. With this, I'll give it to Sarish to share nice updates on Postman CLI. Thanks.
Hello, hey everyone. Thank you, Shashank, for the excellent demo. So today I'm going to show you some absolutely amazing stuff we have been building on the Postman CLI. For those who don't know, Postman offers a CLI tool that you can use for automation or even your regular developer workflows or CI/CD pipelines. And we are going to talk about monitors. Postman monitors are basically collections that run periodically, and they're super useful to monitor the health of your APIs and get notified whenever something is in the red or not going properly. So let me just share my screen. And while I tell you about this, the historical fact has been that monitors have usually just been these passive observers that run periodically, monitoring your APIs on a schedule, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 1 hour, whatever. But we wanted to just bring that closer to the engineering lifecycle that we have. When we are deploying stuff, we have a CI/CD workflow usually, and we often need an immediate validation as soon as the pipeline finishes. Is my stuff okay? So that is where the connection of these two comes in. We have built in the ability to run monitors directly from the CLI. So I'm now going to show you how that works as an active gatekeeper for all your CD pipelines instead of just a passive observer that runs periodically. So getting to the action, I have a collection here that is basically just a validation collection for my API. And now I'm going to create a monitor out of this. There's one way to create the monitor, and you can also go to the sidebar, by the way. And if you don't see it on the sidebar, just go here and enable monitors. That should be making this visible here. So I'm going to create a monitor here. The collection name is already selected. Let me just name this monitor code sanity check 2. I'll ensure that the collection and the environment are correct. So usually we would just select a schedule here. When do we want to run this monitor on a periodic basis? But now we have this option of selecting Postman CLI. So first we'll need to install the Postman CLI in the environment that you are working on in the CI/CD pipeline or your local machine. So this is the script that we provide for that. You can just copy and use it. And after we create this monitor, we can use these commands to do it. So I'll just go ahead. I'll create this monitor on that collection. And this monitor just stays there. It doesn't run on a schedule because I selected Postman CLI. So I'm now going to show you how we are going to run this on Postman CLI. So to save a little bit of time, I already have Postman CLI installed. If you don't have, you can just use that command that we copied right there to install Postman CLI here. So for the sake of time, I already have it installed. And let's log into the Postman CLI. So a word about the login process. The login process used to be a little more cumbersome. We used to have to create an API key and put it there. But now we have made this nice browser-based login. You can directly authenticate from your browser, and that authenticates you right here in the command line. The old method of authenticating via an API key still works in case you want to use it in your CI/CD pipelines. But right now, we'll just go forward with this. So once we have this, I'm going to copy the ID of this monitor I just created, monitoring CRUD sanity check 2. Let me just copy the ID of the monitor. And here we go. I'll just do Postman monitor run. I'll paste the ID. And yep, this should start running our monitor. The collection that I made has a couple of tests and a pretty comprehensive suite of the APIs that I need to monitor. So let's just give it a minute. Here you can see all the stuff that we've already selected in the monitor, right? We have the name, We have the collection and everything. So yep, the monitor run has finished. We see the number of runs and the requests and the tests that I had. I have 12 assertions here apparently. And if I want to check the run report of what happened here, I can directly go to this URL. This will lead me to the browser-based Postman web app, or I already have this Postman open here. So I just check it out here. This monitor just ran through the CLI, and yep, everything looks like has passed. So yep, I can filter out which runs happen through the Postman CLI or through webhooks or whatever. So yeah, this is how, folks, you can now run monitors directly from the CLI. And the great part about this is now you can turn this kind of a monitor into a gatekeeper. And I'll show you exactly how we have done that in one of our internal services already. So this is a service that we have. We use GitHub Actions for a lot of our CI/CD pipelines. And the pipeline is something like this. It runs some tests. We approve it. It starts the deployments. And once the image is built, the deployment is done. The last step after the deployment happens is to run the monitor that we have set up for E2E tests. And once this monitor runs, we know that it is good or not good, and we can proceed with the deployment. The Postman monitor run actually returns an exit code depending on whether your monitor run was successful or not. So you can actually use that to check if your pipeline should succeed after this, or the deployment should be stopped, or a notification should be sent. So yeah, that's it. And we are looking forward to feedback about this. Feel free to use this in your CI/CD pipelines and make monitors an active gatekeeper for your deployments. Yep. Thank you. And over to Talia.
Thank you. Thank you to all the presenters. That was really, really incredible. As a reminder, you can experiment now with everything you just saw in your account. So please let us know in the Discord community what you think. And don't forget to subscribe to the LinkedIn newsletter called The Blurb. We'll be publishing out a new one soon. And thank you all for joining us. We'll see you in 2 weeks for a fresh set of demos. Bye, everyone. Thank you.